Alright, hello everybody, Jonthre from the V Crew here. Today we are going to be playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I don't actually know a lot about this game, but I know it's pretty damn fun. Something bad's
This is the
probably going to
story of a
happen.
man named Stanley. Stanley
Alright, so
worked for a
we're
company in a
Stanley.
big building where he was employee number 427.
Alright.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders
most
came to him
riveting
through a
of
monitor at his
jobs.
desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
This sounds
And
like a
although
really
others
boring
might have
job.
considered it
I don't
soul-winning,
know how
Stanley relished
Stanley
every
here can
moment
keep
that the
this up.
orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
He probably was
Stanley
made exactly for
was
this
happy.
job.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would
Jeez.
never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed
Damn,
up to give him
Stanley.
instructions,
You've become
call a
irrelevant.
meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Alright, I guess we're in the limbo.
All of
or,
his
like,
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Oh,
decided to go
boy.
to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how
Lovely day
hard Stanley
outside.
looked, he couldn't
The
find a trace
abyss.
of his co-workers.
Can I go into any of these rooms? No, I cannot. Okay. Well, I guess I'm just gonna try to ignore that we might be inside the sun right now, and, I guess I'll go find my friends, coworkers. I don't know, they probably don't like me that much.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. So, I can go to the door on the left, or I can go to the door on the right. Instinctively, I'd want to go to the door on the right, but I feel like that's what everybody does. So I'm curious to see what happens if I do follow the narrator's orders, I guess. Alright, let's see.
Yet there was not a
Meeting
single
room.
person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Where? Oh, there's the projector. I'm gonna continue moving. Broom closet. Oh, I can go into the broom
Stanley
closet.
stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Can I take a broom? Can I take a sweeper bucket? Can I
There
take...
was nothing here. No choice to
up.
make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Let me look around, narrator. It appears Stanley does not have the
It
ability
was
to jump.
baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in
And
the broom
also,
closet. He wasn't even doing
and
anything.
also apparently
At least if there was
Stanley
something to
has no
interact
legs.
with, he'd be justified in some
Or a
way.
shadow.
As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Also, narrator, do you fucking mind? I'm trying to admire the broom
Are
closet.
you really still in the broom closet?
Yes.
Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
I'm trying to fuck around and find out, game. Okay, no.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Alright, fine. You want me to leave the damn broom
Maybe to
closet? I'll
you this
leave
is
the damn broom
somehow
closet.
its own branching path. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Is it the basement down there? Oh well, I guess I'm going up. Executive bathroom. Oh. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp. Hold on, let's say extreme bathrooms. Either this is the world's worst mirror, or Stanley is also a vampire, because he does not have a reflection. But whatever. Probably not too much of a pressing issue at the moment.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Ooh,
Shocked,
they got wine in
unraveled,
here?
Stanley wondered
Holy
in
shit.
disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Oh, wow.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Oh shit, there's a camera in here. You think it saw me walk in? I was just gonna see, maybe I could drink my sorrows away. But sure.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the
thanks.
combination was 2845.
Whoops.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by
Did I just
sheer
get
luck.
fucking,
Amazing.
roofied?
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I guess I didn't get roofied. Is this something I can fall down? Well, it looks like I don't really have a choice. Fall damage or not, here we go! Oh. There's a floor here. This game perplexes me.
Descending deeper into the building,
minutes.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him?
Because Stanley's
This
a
question
fucking
would not
idiot.
go unanswered for long.
Oh. Can I just... Oh shit, yeah, I can just leave.
Whoops, nope, never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
I didn't think that was gonna actually work. Okay, cool, the buttons don't work anymore, so I guess I'm locked into this now.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Can I get some wine for the road? No. Okay, cool. Alright. So, does the elevator work now? Okay, yeah, the elevator does work. Okay.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
They really did
Surely
consider
this
for a
time
lot
Stanley
of
will
these.
walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
Okay, well, first of all, narrator, fuck you again. Second of
Stanley
all, yes,
walked
I
straight
am
ahead
going to
through the
walk
large
ahead.
door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape. I'm curious where this leads, but I'm also really curious to see where this goes down the spooky hallway. Uh, you know what? We'll come back to you. I wanna see what's down this way. Idea button. What does that say? A whole lot of nonsense.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
This is
horrible
odd.
secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Uh, Notably, it doesn't seem like I have the choice, so I guess I do. Uh,
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I see. Looks like I found quite the lore here. Human button.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only
am
reason
I
he
the
was happy
one
with his
who
boring
has
job?
Stanley
That his
under-
emotions had been
controlling Stanley? I'm
manipulated
the
to
one.
accept
We're
it
doing this?
blindly?
Is that what we're implying? But,
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold
Sure
reality of his
something.
past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
alright, Stanley. Think you're a real smart guy, huh? Guess I'll... And everything's gone dark. Lovely. Is this the part where Freddy shows up?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
No, of course not.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
Oh, this place
It
is
was
pretty
perhaps
scenic. I like
the
it.
only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling
This
of
is
liberation,
lovely. I
the
freed
immense
myself
possibility
from
of the
tyranny.
new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ah, I see. Lovely. The good, happy Stanley ending. Gotta love it. Yay. I have a feeling that, listening to what old narrator wants us to do
All of his
probably,
co-workers were gone.
is
What
the
could it
more fun
mean?
option.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the
Phew.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
I mean, maybe.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Okay, couple comments. Who left their cups laying on the ground? And
Yes,
also,
really, really worth it being here in the room. A
who
room so utterly
decided to
captivating
do
that even though
this?
all your
Like,
co-workers have mysteriously vanished,
what's the
here you
purpose
sit looking
of
at
the
these chairs and
drop-off
some
here? This is
paintings.
just asking
Really
for
worth
someone to
it.
trip over it. You know what? I'm not going to question the architectural
At this
design of
point,
this place.
Stanley's
Clearly
obsession with
not
it,
my
but at
biggest
last
issue.
he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nah.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I see. Do not jump from cargo while lifting in motion.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
You can't jump. No, seriously, we disabled it. I'd like to test that theory.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is
I
in
see.
control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Fuck you,
Good job,
narrator, I do
Stanley.
what I want.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Alrighty then.
All of his
Alright.
co-workers were gone.
Clearly they
What
did
could it
not
mean?
disable it.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Joke's on you. I don't know my left and right. I think this is left.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it,
Her in
Stanley.
this scenario.
Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
What, my wife? Do I have a wife? What? Narrator guy? Why does this story lead into the endless abyss of hell? Is this what I want to be doing? Can I go back? Oh. I can go back, but I think that's what the narrator wants. So fuck it, let's plunge into the abyss. What's the worst that can happen?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
I don't wanna... Nope, let me out! I don't wanna pay child support. You know, fuck it, fine. I'll pick up the phone. I assume it's child support. What else could it
Stanley,
be?
is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their
No.
life to you? I'm
The
trying to make a
room
point
still
here,
says
Stanley. I'm
427,
trying to
you
get you
piece
to
of
see
shit.
something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
No.
Sorry, but you're in my story now.
God damn it. Okay, well, fine. Fuck you.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
No, okay.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Well, it's not
Now
like I have...
he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that
my
one day
TV?
while at work,
Where
he stepped
is
up
my
from his
TV?
desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Fridge. Press O to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Jonthre Parable.
I see. Press O again.
It was such
sure.
a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Maybe
I suppose
install
I
a
can't,
mirror
not in the
that
way I
actually
want him
lets me
to.
see my
But I
reflection.
don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley
Please
pushed a button.
die.
And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Did I die? Well, I mean, he said it politely. Ah, I see. I'm back. I'm back in the fucking building. Oh yeah. So I guess I'm curious to see what that escape door meant.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley
I'll have to
walked
see what's
upstairs to
down
his
there.
boss's office. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
Fuck off.
Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I doubt it.
The door behind
honestly.
him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I mean, if I'm gonna die, I'll die on my own. Is this an empty mine, an empty elevator shaft, or a pit the Tartarus? Either way, I'm willing to bargain with it. Wow, I am surprisingly resilient.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
You wouldn't kill me. You love me too much. Oh.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
I guess not. Anything about the boxes? Where'd the other narrator go? The Stanley
And
Parable.
yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Oh, this looks
When every
nice.
path you can walk has been created for you
Ultra
long in
cult violence
advance,
layer type
death
shit.
becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now?
Nature pictures.
Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
I see. Oh, what's going on here? I haven't actually been there yet. I see, so it's just a museum of Stanley. Must be a pretty famous guy to have an entire museum made for him. There doesn't seem to be anything else more important here. So I guess I'll see what's up with the exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Well, sure, I'll turn
Can
off
you
the
see?
Stanley Parable.
Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone
Why am I
else's
back here?
path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Oh, damn. It actually did kill me this time. Well, I don't exactly appreciate that. Alright, one more time, baby.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
That's new.
No, the orders were still missing. For now.
I always want to see if this door opens. No, it does not.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. Fire hose. Okay.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he
And
believed
69.
everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Am I right?
Why
Like,
did doors
that's
close
what I said.
automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
Yeah, I
And
can't
at
see my
last,
feet.
he
I
came to the
don't have a
conclusion that had been on the
reflection.
tip of his tongue.
I think I
he
might
just hadn't
be a
found the words
ghost.
for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Well, everything went red mostly, and then it went black. You probably should have mentioned everything turned red.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh boy.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work.
Oh, damn.
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was
Stanley
comforting
died.
to think
That's
this,
crazy.
and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Damn. Well, rip Stanley, I guess. Well, I guess for now, this will be the end of the first episode of the Stanley Parables. I will probably end up coming back for more of this because, boy, is this game a fever dream, and that's the kind of stuff I like. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't, that sucks for me, I guess, and I will see you within the next eternity. Goodbye.